I've mentioned this fact about my life a couple of times, but never really went into it. Let's take a deep dive. Hey guys, it's Amy here, back again with another video. In case you don't know who I am Amy Rosenfeld. I am a self-published fantasy author. My book came out in July of 2021. By the way, it's my book birthday livestream coming up, July 24th, and you can also buy my book in the description for $1. And a few times I have mentioned that publishing a book and becoming an author wasn't always my dream. Creative writing very much remained a hobby and a grade booster for me for a very long time. And one outlet where such greatness was totally achieved was a website known as Wattpad. It was about time to take a look down the bookish memory lane to see what Amy Rosenfeld was up to in her writing life in intermediate and high school. Back when she had the anonymous username of... God, I can't even remember what it was. I deleted that account. But before that begins, I should also mention I'm doing some book giveaways. Win signed copies of my book, win bookmarks, character art. This is gonna be happening on my Instagram, on my TikTok, and of course at my YouTube livestream. But now let's get into the good stuff. What you've actually clicked on this video for. Wattpad is a platform in which people can write their stories and publish them on this website for free. It can be of any genre and writing style or level, and it's published in an episodic format. This format meant, of course, that a bunch of very amateur writers would put their stuff on the site and think it's God's glory. You may have heard of something very similar with Kindle Vella having started up recently. The only main difference, at least when I was on Wattpad, was that everything on there you could view and publish for free. And fanfiction was also a huge thing on Wattpad. I don't think there is any fanfiction on Kindle Vella due to copyrights. Some novels that were originally published on Wattpad would become popular by a landslide, eventually monetizing the author, and in some cases their novels actually got published and made into physical books. I think this was by some kind of Wattpad publishing house or something, or maybe publishing houses sought out these books that were on Wattpad and decided, let's publish this the proper way. The most famous example of this would be After, which was originally a One Direction fanfiction, and it became some kind of smut, romance, drama thing. But let's talk about my experiences now. I was first introduced to this site when I was around 12 or 13. One of my friends from primary school, which is elementary school equivalent, we were both in the same class and absolutely loved, gushed, and talked to each other so much about our creative writing assignments. We still kept in contact after primary school, of course, because we went to different schools after that. At the time, I was working on one of my own fantasy novel projects, just compiling chapters in Word documents on my laptop. Teeny tiny laptop! I told said friend about it, and she encouraged me to start publishing that kind of stuff on the Wattpad website, with some precariously drawn sketches as book covers. Then, about a month into it, I was brewing another story idea. This was the original version of ASTER'S CODA when I first came up with it, and it was then known as Gigabyte, because she was an android in a fantasy world. None of it made sense. I was totally riding off the seat of my pants, and also really copying Rick Riordan's writing style as I was writing this novel. But I really enjoyed doing it, so there's not quite as much shame as you would think. I got a few people interested in it who would end up, commenting their thoughts as I published each chapter. And at one stage, I think I was even able to post a chapter a week, which is really good progress. Now, keep in mind that none of it was edited. Wattpad at the time didn't have any tools to educate you and tell you how to make what you're publishing better. They just give you the tools to actually publish it. The little bars saying, this is where your title goes, this is where your blurb goes, now put in your chapter, now let's see who your cast is. If you did want help, you could go to chat rooms and forums where people and other users would offer you advice, but there were never any resources that they would shove in your face. You'd actually have to go to those forums to ask those questions and learn that advice from people. I did end up making edits to the chapters probably 6 months after they were published, just because things ended up changing as I continued writing on the seat of my pants. Chapter names, character names, and ages, and then just making writing, not suck and be way less cliched. I did pretty decently. I wrote up to halfway through book 3 in the series while I was on there, but then what happened? Sagging middle syndrome happened. The bane of my existence when it comes to story ideas. It was a very early sign that I didn't know what I wanted to write or how I wanted to write it. I was very unhappy with how I planned chapters out in book 3, but then I needed them in there because of how crucial I thought they were to the story. So I took it down and I decided to rewrite the whole series, and I was publishing the first chapters of what was ASTER'S CODA there. But that's not all I did. Oh no. With fanfiction being such a crucial part of Wattpad, I of course had to dip my toes into it. I read a couple, liked them, and then I decided to try something new and do actual fanfiction writing. I even had the egotistic thought of writing a fanfiction for something that wouldn't have a lot of fanfiction content, so that way the audience would be able to find my works better and grow my thing more. My following. So I took a show that had recently come out, a rebooted version of a British TV classic, and I made a fanfiction about it that combined the episodic format of the show into one cohesive storyline. And what I did worked out right in a sense. I think I got 50k views after writing 2 books based on it, publishing a chapter a week on average. What show is this? It was the Thunderbirds reboot that my dad got me into, which I now genuinely don't know what has happened to it. I only finished writing book 2, and by then, the 2nd season had finished. What happened? Oh, it only went up to season 3. Oh, that's a shame. No wonder I don't hear anything about it anymore. So anyway, this ended up helping me a lot when it came to teaching me how to outline, because I had to work out how the different episodes within this TV series would link together and create an overall cohesive narrative. I gathered key points from the episodes and ended up threading them together to create different sorts of climaxes and things that would actually impact the world and make the cohesive story through a character I came up with. What was her name? Like Riley? Rita? I don't remember her name, but I remember that she was Virgil's girlfriend. I had a tiny crush on him. But yeah, I stopped on book 2 because by the time that finished, I had only written up to halfway through season 1 and things were going really slow to the point where I just got bored. Yeah, that's how long I was making those plots. And I don't know why or how I was enjoying this more than ASTER'S CODA now that I think back on it. I guess it was just because I was being recognized and being seen in the Wattpad world. No, it totally was, and I totally knew that. Getting lovely little serotonin boosts from each comment and each like of a chapter. Especially the comments that I got when one of the villains strangled one of the beloved characters in the show. There were plenty more projects that I started and stopped on that website, both original and fanfiction, but those 2 would be the main ones that stuck. And there's also the chance for me to do some text-based role-playing with my book characters on that site to help flesh them out. So why did I end up stopping? While looking for tips to improve my writing, now that I had a better idea of how to write and what was wrong with my books, I stumbled across AuthorTube and people who published their books telling me how it was actually done, how accessible it was, and providing me information that could end up helping me do that in the future. And I was like, why could I do this all for free when this could be my job one day? So that was the main reason why I shut down my account. You can't go there anymore, guys. Thank God. Furthermore, with Wattpad being an amateur writing site compared to publishing and the monetization of books, if you get famous on Wattpad, you're gonna get that sort of Wattpad author label. And there's a bunch of like really weird reputation surrounding Wattpad that just make people look down at you when you say you're a Wattpad author. Especially when it was becoming a fanfic hub, and the thing that I wanted to get the most known for was an original piece. ASTER'S CODA exposure. It excites me even now so freaking much. But with Kindle Vella coming up, not yet in New Zealand, but it's definitely available in the US for publishers, this made me consider if I want to get back into this seemingly premium version of Wattpad, because I have had experience with that sort of thing in a way. If I do, I won't be doing it with ASTER'S CODA. I do have one book idea that could be converted into a Vella story, but that will be if Kindle Vella also grows in popularity enough. I'll just spend these early stages as a bystander, you know, not being able to quite participate in Vella yet. I don't know if it will be popular enough to stick around, with free platforms like Wattpad being out there. Also, I don't know if I would make a Kindle Vella story, because I'm kind of anti-monopoly, which is why my books are wide and not Amazon exclusive. Wattpad may have gotten me to where I am today in the vaguest of senses, but that doesn't really mean I'm going to be going back to it. I hear a lot of things have changed. I'm not exactly sure what. I may make a video, like, going back into it, but for now, I'm fine with where I am. I am perfectly happy with where I am. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new around here. You can ring that bell to find out when I post more creative content. One more reminder, ASTER'S CODA exposure, available all of July for $1 in ebook format. Giveaways happening on TikTok and Instagram, and of course, live stream July 24th. And be sure to check me out over on my Instagram, my Fiverr, my TikTok, and my website. Stay creative, everybody, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.